You okay to talk to me? I know everything's jacked up and you're not happy with the entire situation going on. But, this is your opportunity to tell me what happened and what went down inside. I know it's hard to talk about. How did she make you feel? This is your chance to tell me all that. Because I don't think you're a bad guy. I really don't.
I was enraged, man.
If we follow the pattern of the many well-established addictive behaviors, such as gambling, drinking, or substance abuse, the relatively new realm of cyber-sexual activity has created yet another challenge for society. The vast majority of people who engage in this activity only do so on an occasional basis, finding these experiences to be enjoyable distractions but are ultimately not as satisfying as real-life intimate connections. For others, however, the ability to engage in cyber-sexual behavior, both inexpensively and anonymously, has the potential to cause significant damage that is similar to many forms of addiction. The past decade has seen an explosion in the availability of pornography online. High-speed internet has made it much easier for porn companies to distribute content to users, and the rise of so-called tube sites has allowed people to access millions of pornographic videos free of charge at the click of a mouse. Skeptics of pornography's danger point out that porn has been around a long time. After all, the ancient Greeks painted sexual images on their pottery. But comparing paintings on Greek vases to today's endless stream of graphic material is beyond naive. Even the centerfold magazines that were passed around among the youth in previous generations were nothing compared to what the youth are able to access today. As the popularity of internet porn has grown like wildfire, it has also turned darker and far more extreme. With so much material available, adult film companies have tried to compete for attention by constantly pushing the boundaries. 30 years ago, the term hardcore pornography usually meant the explicit depiction of sexual intercourse. As for the present day, hardcore porn has evolved and is increasingly dominated by sadomasochistic themes, involving scripts fusing sex with hatred and humiliation. Mainstream porn now has an abundance of degradation and abuse in a way never before seen in the mass media. Softcore porn is now what hardcore porn was a few decades ago. The comparatively tame softcore pictures of yesteryear now show up on mainstream media with no age restrictions whatsoever. Popular video games now feature full nudity, and even children's toys have become more sexualized. Many have asserted the argument that porn has slowly influenced every aspect of Western culture and become a routine part of how adolescents learn about sex. In an identical manner to drugs and alcohol, porn triggers the release of dopamine into your system. This is known as the feel-good chemical, and whenever you do something healthy, like eating nutritious food or doing exercise, dopamine gets released in the brain and elevates your mood. The exhilarating feeling you get makes you want to repeat the behavior that triggered it, and this is essentially how evolution has hardwired us into doing things that will improve our health and chances of survival. Yet we are now at an age where this reward chemical is so easily accessed with minimal effort, and more alarmingly, void of having to do something that actually benefits our health to attain its release. With relation to porn, the effortless and immediate access to this reward chemical can become so addictive that it can cause a person to become disengaged and distracted from life's priorities. An individual's interest in pursuing relationships with the opposite sex can slowly diminish as their motivations become solely focused on a single channel of attaining sexual gratification, one which requires no social interaction or intimate communication whatsoever. It can be very detrimental to psychological well-being and affect an individual's social life to a point where they no longer have one. Such was the case of Grant Amato. Most who have clicked on this video will already be aware of the extremely bizarre and equally tragic circumstances regarding this individual, yet most will have also been misled by the mainstream media with regard to the psychological motivations and rationale behind the choices he made. In mid-2018, 29-year-old Grant was unemployed, living rent-free in his parents' guest house in the rural village of Chuliota, Florida. He had not once lived on his own and had recently been kicked out of an anesthesiology school for lack of attendance and also fired from a job as a nurse for stealing medication. According to reports, his only friend was his older brother, 31-year-old Cody Amato, who was also a nurse and at the time working 12-hour shifts for 7 days a week to support both himself and his younger sibling. Aside from the rare occasions where Grant was dragged along by his brother to attend social gatherings, he spent most of his time alone in his room. Digital forensics discovered that he had a severely unhealthy addiction to porn from as early on as his mid-20s, which they were able to assert from his online activity uncovered from his 2 laptops. His tolerance to standard material appeared to fade as he began searching more extreme forms of material and on a far more consistent basis. Yet it was only in late 2018 when he decided to experiment with the relatively new realm of online cam sites. These platforms differ from regular porn sites in that they are interactive. Instead of watching a pre-recorded video, users can solicit live performances from models in exchange for money. This allows individuals to watch whatever acts they want, but at a price. Using his brother's credit card, he browsed through multiple cam models, spending an average of 20 minutes on each one. Yet it was on the 5th of June when forensics discovered he came in contact with a performer who went by the stage name of Sylvie, but whose real name was Sylvia Venceslavova, a 33-year-old Bulgarian national who had worked as a cam girl for 9 years.
Hello. So, how are you? I've been having a long day. And I decided to stop by and check on you.
Over the following 6 months, Grant would spend over $200,000 of his family's money on this one model. The entirety of his father's life savings that he had saved up from working as a pharmacist for over 30 years was gone. He had spent $60,000 from his brother's credit card and had also taken a $65,000 loan out on the house. When his family found out, instead of calling the police or kicking him out, they provided emotional support and tried to help him. Grant was sent to a behavioral rehabilitation facility for online porn addiction. But this is where both his family and the following coverage from the media were misconstrued. They were under the impression that his destructive behavior was solely the result of an addiction to porn. The rehab facility would have taken on the notion that Grant's repetitive and selfish behavior was due to the fact that he was consistently seeking this specific stimuli for sexual gratification, and much like a heroin addict, was willing to go to any lengths to attain his next hit. However, forensics discovered that Grant and Sylvia's chat log was seldom related to sexual activity. In fact, the last 4 months had none whatsoever. They would talk about life, love, romance, and each of their hopes and dreams. Their subject matter resembled one of an actual couple in a loving relationship, and even hinted at the two of them marrying one day and having children together. Although Grant's initial addiction to porn was no doubt a catalyst that led to his encounter with Sylvia, it was his addiction to intimacy that eventually precipitated his costly behavior. He had become so starved of a woman's attention and affection that once he had attained it, he would do anything to hold on to it. Yet while this virtual relationship was no doubt of a genuine nature from Grant's perspective, for Sylvia, it was evidently for the sole purpose of monetary gain, and her guileful strategy in how she communicated was somewhat impressive, yet highly manipulative and calculated. While the two of them could see one another through each of their webcams, their dialogue was solely through written text. Forensics discovered that from within the 2 weeks of their acquaintance, Grant was fully decided and open with Sylvia about his desire to meet her in person and start a relationship. He would write things like, "I want to be with you. I want to take care of you. I would come and meet you today if I could." Sylvia, on the other hand, appeared to provide glimpses of hope here and there by saying things like, "I care about you. You are a special man to me," but would ultimately fall back on what she alleged were the rules of the website, which prevented the two of them from meeting. Although seldom research has been carried out on the industry, what has been discovered is that only an average of 35% of interactions are related to sex, with the other 65% essentially being a giant game of manipulation. Grant, for a lack of a better term, had been played for a fool by someone with years of experience in the industry, and who had no doubt acquired a significant amount of skill in deceptive charm and emotional manipulation. But to her defense, Grant had said that he was a millionaire. She was made to think that it was his own income that he was squandering, and there was no way for her to know of the tragic and horrifying events that would come to pass as a result of her opportunistic behavior. When Grant got back from rehab on January 4th, his father presented him with a 2-page list of rules he was required to follow if he wanted to continue living at home. One of the conditions was that he cease all communication with Sylvia immediately, but it took just 3 weeks for the family to discover that he had broken the contract and re-established contact with Amato via Twitter. On January 24th, when Chad Amato got home from work, he reportedly confronted Grant over his disregard, and the two of them got into a heated argument which almost turned into a physical altercation. Grant was then kicked out of the house, and for the first time in his life, he was on his own. Shortly before 9 a.m. the next morning, police received a call from Cody Amato's girlfriend, alerting them that he had failed to show up to work that morning and hadn't responded to multiple phone calls. They arrived at the residence at 9:17 a.m., and once knocks on the front door went unanswered, they were able to gain access with a knife via the back entrance. Chad, Margaret, and Cody Amato were all found lying dead on the floor with gunshot wounds to the head from a 9mm handgun. Investigators concluded that all three had been murdered in a manner that resembled an execution. Grant became the immediate prime suspect, as a witness statement from Cody's girlfriend advised police of the confrontation that had occurred the night before, as well as the collection of bizarre circumstances that had led to that point. He was traced to a hotel in Orlando.
If you're being cooperative, sir, we appreciate that. Some Seminole County detectives want to talk to you, so we're going to get the handcuffs off of you.
Nothing in your pants, correct?
It's just a normal routine when we encounter someone that we want to make sure you're safe. Now we know you don't have any weapons, we'll get those restraints off of you. We're confident you've been cooperative, everything's good, so we appreciate that very much. It goes a long ways.
He immediately agreed to accompany them to the police station and sit down for an interview. Reports stated that he wasn't made aware of his family's demise, nor was he advised as to what the purpose of the interview was for. Grant himself didn't once inquire, just reportedly sat silent in the back seat of an unmarked police car, staring out the window for the entire journey to the police station.
Did you know the water then?
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good. Okay, man.
Yeah.
Real quick. We're just going to patch you down for weapons real quick. Got anything on you? Guns, knives, drugs? Yeah, just stand up. Everything on you?
No, sir.
Needles or anything?
I shouldn't have anything left on my pockets or anything.
No needles or anything?
No.
So you got to walk through coke or anything?
No. I'll hold off on that.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Eva.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm here.
Just to restate, he has not been told, nor given any insinuation as to why he is sitting inside a police interrogation room, and has not once inquired himself.
Hey, we really appreciate you coming up here with us, and if any time during this you need to stop and go to the bathroom, want a drink,
Snacks.
then just let me know, and we'll be happy to get you in. My name is Danny Anderson, and I'm a deputy Seminole County Sheriff's Office. Is Eva.
The investigators' initial plan of attack is to build rapport with the suspect. They will keep him relaxed, act like his friend, and get the dialogue flowing before they slowly ramp up the pressure.
So we just want to talk to you a little bit, and we'll get this in and out, be on our way. Okay? Full name?
My full name is Grant Tiernan Amato.
What is there any special nursing degree, what you do, or?
I have like other certifications,
Uh-huh.
I mean, with that, like, I primarily worked in the hospital for, I think, 5 or 6 years. Well, I was accused of grand theft of the third degree back in June of 2018. That, like, went on for 6 months, and during that time, I obviously wasn't allowed to work because of it. So when that happened, obviously, I was dismissed from that job, and then I couldn't get another job because now you have an outstanding felony charge on your name.
Sure.
So then I got the attorney. It all went through, and then finally in December, they posted on the Orange County Clerk Courts or whatever website where your file is that there was no evidence ever presented. All the charges were dropped, and now I'm just in the process of expunging that from my records.
Right.
But because, you know, I can't keep just not working forever.
Sure.
And, you know, that was kind of a topic around the house was, you know, I need to get started here.
Right.
I've been applying for jobs for the last couple weeks. I'd gotten like 3 or 4 callbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went on a job interview yesterday for a home infusion nurse job.
What time was your interview yesterday?
It was scheduled for 10. I got there at around 9 in the
Okay.
morning. And then I think we actually had the interview at about 9:45.
How'd that go?
I mean, it was all good. They didn't have anything. They said that they'd probably be getting back to me by Tuesday or Thursday this coming week.
Get you back to work?
Yeah, because, I mean, it's a crappy world when, you know, you don't have any money, you
Sure.
can't do anything, so.
As of this moment, the suspect has already acted in a highly unusual manner. Not only has he not inquired about why he is sitting inside a police station, but he has already started going into detail about things that had not yet been asked by the investigators. The only questions put forward up to this point were in regard to basic information, such as his phone number and date of birth, and when asked about his schooling history, which was posed in a single word, education, the suspect took it upon himself to veer off on affiliated descriptions. Without being asked, he goes into detail about his future plans at finding employment, how he was fired in the first place, how he feels about being unemployed, and how not working has affected his personal state of mind and domestic situation. The detectives run with it and start to add questions to the deviated dialogue. They get him into the habit of responding as expressively as possible to a posed question, which will serve a critical purpose when they start gathering pretext during the later stages of the interrogation.
Financially, how's the nursing what you did? I'm sorry, I just don't know that much. She knows a lot more about nursing. The nursing, how does it pay? How does it pay?
I mean, if you work your standard 12 hours a week, you get anywhere between, I'd say, $45,000 and $55,000 a year. So, I mean, it's not bad. Obviously, if you work overtime, like some of the nurses who have also been nurses for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they can make 6 figures if you work 5.
What was your best year?
I think my best year, I made like $55,000.
55.
Because I rarely worked overtime.
Right.
You know, when I was just, because I had the whole plan of going to graduate school,
Mm-hmm.
so I was just kind of using it as a stepping
Right.
stone at that time.
Just to pay the bills to
Right.
get you where you gotta. Gotcha.
Um,
And what you were going for, what does that pay?
Nurse anesthesia pays, I mean, base like about 150 up to 175.
Okay. High school, where'd you go?
I went to Timber Creek.
How were you raised?
High school and the first 2 years of college, I was A, B, C.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was in honors in the major program for UCF.
Mm-hmm.
And then my final 2 years when I was getting my BSN,
Mm-hmm.
I made A's and B's, and then I had one slip up in my final semester where I had to redo a class,
Mm-hmm.
and then I ended up graduating in August.
Okay. Girlfriends?
Girlfriends. I had, like my high school sweetheart, girlfriend for about 5 years. And then ever since then, no like official girlfriends, no flings or anything like that.
Dates here and there?
Dates occasionally, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean not really. Kind of focused on like just getting through the life goals that, you know, I wanted to achieve. And then
It could be argued that he was intending to start talking about his relationship with Sylvia at this moment, yet the detective makes the mistake of posing another question on a separate matter before waiting to see what the suspect was about to divulge.
You have a bunch of school debt?
school. I mean, not anything from UCF. I have about $100,000, I'd say.
What do you like to do?
What do I like to do? I like to watch anime. Me and my brother kind of started doing that back 5 years ago, I'd say. He kind of got me into it.
What is it? I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know what it is.
I mean,
I thought you said MMA. I'm like, okay, and then when you started explaining to it,
I mean, I
heard
guess
it. I'm like, no.
it's animated. It's like cartoons, I guess you could say, but it's Japanese cartoons. It is in Japanese, and then they subtitle it. Yeah.
You speak Japanese?
I was going to say, do you understand?
I don't. I understand a few words. We actually just went to, me, my brother, and one of my friends, or I guess friends from high school, we went to Japan from December 1st to December 15th.
Oh, wow.
So
Did you go back?
Oh, yeah, we would go back.
Really?
Yeah, I think we were actually planning on going back November of this year.
In fact, how long have you been out of work?
I've been out of work for 6 months, since June.
How did you pay? That's a lot of money for to be out of work.
My brother.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think the only other game that we really played was Fortnite, but then that was starting to get to like.
That's a big deal right now.
Yeah.
The younger
Kids are all over it.
generation.
And actually, yeah, during the time that I was that I wasn't working as a nurse, I tried to do the whole Twitch streaming thing.
What is that?
Um,
I'm sorry.
No.
We're kind of older. You have to explain a lot of this to us.
With Twitch, it's you got your mic and then you have your face cam, and then basically people are just watching you play whatever game you're going to say that you're playing.
Okay.
On virtual reality, it was primarily just Beat Saber, so it's like a rhythm-based game, like Guitar Hero. Apart from that, we really didn't get into too many other games yet, because we were kind of just focused on Beat Saber. But I think we had downloaded a few other where it's just like you're going through like a world and you can interact with the world or something like that.
What other hobbies do you have?
This was the fourth time in a consecutive manner that the investigator had asked about hobbies. He's trying to get the suspect to bring up his relationship with the cam model on his own accord. Directly inquiring into the matter this early could potentially alert suspicion and disrupt the flow of the dialogue, or close up the suspect altogether.
Besides that, a number of years ago, like me and my brother were actually like gun enthusiasts. I had about 4 ARs. They were all just where you would buy like the different parts again, kind of like with the PC, and then just put them all together.
Anything left in savings?
Nothing left in savings. I think I had like $300-400. But
Brother kind of helping you through?
Yeah. I mean, brother was helping me. My dad was covering the rent.
Close with your brother Cody? Let's talk about Cody.
Oh yeah. Me and Cody.
Who's older, you or him?
He is. I'm the youngest one. I'm 29. He's 31. Okay. My oldest brother Jason is 35 or 36 now.
Talk about Cody.
Cody. Let's see. Me and Cody had the quintessential rough, like, fighting each other and whatnot when we were younger.
The love-hate,
right.
Typical siblings.
But then I would say, like, my junior year of high school, we were all on the weightlifting team together. We stopped, like, arguing at that point. And then we all, we decided to go to nursing school together. We decided to go to the nurse anesthesia school together. I mean, we did everything together. I mean,
Who was the better student?
He was the better student in everything up through nursing school, and then I was actually the better student in nurse anesthesia school. But yeah, we were close. I mean, like bonded. I don't really know how else to really say it. It was a lot of people thought that it was weird because we did everything together and because we were so close, but. Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, a lot of people understand the bond of brothers, though.
Yeah.
The true bond if you're close with your brother.
And, I mean, during, like, this whole time, I mean, kind of like with just a few examples I've given you, he'd take care of everything for me.
Always there for you.
Yeah.
Always there to support you.
Always there. He's always been there for me, so... With my oldest brother, Jason, not so much, just because he was adopted to begin with, and then...
He was adopted by who?
My dad. He was my mom's son.
Cody's definitely one you're way closer with.
Yeah. Hands down.
Go on vacations, he's helping with bills, helping with the legal issues.
Right, and I mean...
Studied together.
We, did everything together, connected at the hip.
Ever any issues really with him?
No, like I was saying, during this last 6 months, it had been a very trying time. He would, like, have his moments where he would get extremely upset. He never gets violent, I guess you could say. But, like, at one point he got so upset that he, like, pushed a cabinet and then it, like, dented into the wall. Yeah, I mean, at least with me, he's always been, like, where he's there for me. Like, whatever it takes, regardless of what's happening, I'm going to take care of it for you.
Do you have any issues with depression over all the legal issues and beyond?
I would say that I was depressed, but, I'd always put on the happy face for, like, my brother. And
how would you deal with the depression?
This was more than likely a further attempt to get the suspect to initiate a dialogue over the cam model.
I'd talk to God. I'd try and just rationalize it in my head that, I haven't heard anything from this attorney in 5 months, 6 months. I mean, you'd think that if it was something so severe that you would have heard about it by now. So I was just trying to rationalize to myself that hopefully this can all get taken care of, and then I can get back. I was looking towards the future.
Tell me about your mom.
My mom has
Asking the suspect about each individual family member would have served no further purpose other than to gauge his responses. It must have been a bizarre sight for the detectives to witness, when a man who had just allegedly shot his mother twice in the head gave a reminiscent smile when she was brought up in the discussion.
She's always been it's kind of like Cody, she's always been the one that focused on me, and,
Were you the baby? You were truly the family baby?
For my mom.
So that she's...
Yeah.
Okay.
For my mom.
Mom's favorite?
Yeah. You know, countless times my dad would, like, come up to me and he'd make, like, me feel... Like, he'd try and use things and word things to make me feel guilty so that I would, you know, do everything that I can, like get a job.
Almost like a motivation?
Right. And he'd tell me time and time again that, you know, you're her favorite. I mean, she would do anything for you. And, I mean, it's like, yeah, I don't need to hear that. I mean, that's not what would motivate me.
Sure.
But no, with Mom, I think we yelled at each other a grand total of like 3 or 4 times my whole life. Never any issues. I mean, it was always, like, if there was somebody that I could talk to and, like, Cody wasn't available, I'd always talk to my mom. I'd always let her know what's going on. Yeah, I mean, she would help me out through anything.
Okay. Tell me about Dad.
Dad,
what does he do?
Dad's a pharmacist.
Okay.
He works for CVS. He's been a pharmacist for, I think, 35 years or so. My dad was a very, like, angry, violent type person. Overbearing. You know, like baseball practice, it'd be like for 4 or 5 hours, and he's hurling the ball as fast as an adult can, and we're like 7th to 8th grade trying to catch this stuff.
Belittle you?
He would belittle me when I was younger, but again...
How long since you've been out of work?
No, I mean, not really. He would just make me feel bad that, like, he would make me feel bad that Cody's doing all this stuff to, like,
And you're not.
And I'm not. Like, I'm not contributing. The problem, I guess, was that I was always, like, the jokester, the one that could calm everybody down, make everybody smile. If it was a heated situation, I could say a joke or something and then make everybody kind of move past it. And I was just in the point where it's like, you know, I'm hearing, you know, all this stuff from Dad. I'm seeing how much Cody's helping me. You know, Mom's stressed out with her job. And it's like I'm not doing anything.
When's the last time your dad put his hands on you?
The last time my dad put his hands on me would be, I'd say, kind of the middle of December of 2018.
What happened?
It's because, you know, with all the money that had been getting spent and...
Just to be clear, Sylvia hasn't yet been brought up in discussion, nor has the fact that he spent his family's entire life savings on her. The money being spent, in this context, would simply be his living expenses.
I guess just a mix of everything that I've been saying, just kind of boiling up in him. And the fact that I was, to him, it seemed like I wasn't concerned about it. So, and then plus I was, you know, I wasn't acting like myself with the jovialness and, you know, all that kind of stuff. My father chose to admit me to like a depression or an addiction clinic or something like that in Fort Lauderdale called Cornerstone.
When was that?
That was December 22nd.
Okay.
Until I think January 4th.
Did you agree to go?
I didn't, but they said that, you know, this was your only...
Who said?
My dad.
Okay.
And that was in Fort Lauderdale?
Yes, yeah.
Did your mom agree with it?
My mom and my brother both agreed, but it was my dad who was like the iron fist, like, this is what's going to happen. Like, you know, he can't...
Why did he say you needed to go? What was his reasoning?
Because with the way that I was acting, he didn't see that I was doing anything for, like, the positive. You know, and a lot of it just came back to money with him. He would like allow me to spend money that he had, like with his credit card or something like that. But it's like then whenever I did, it was like a huge problem.
Okay, so you had one of his credit cards.
Yeah.
And what were you buying with it?
Well, what I was doing is over the past 4 months or something like that, I've been talking to this woman online.
Who's she?
She's as embarrassing as it is. She's a cam model.
A what?
A cam model. Do
All right.
either of you guys know what that
Nope.
is?
Just like all the videos, you have to tell us.
A cam model, it's like it's like a virtual girlfriend, I guess you could say.
Okay.
Like that type of situation.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the money went to her.
Okay. Where's she at?
She lives in Bulgaria.
Where?
Bulgaria,
Where's that?
over in Europe. It's like
Okay.
outside of Germany.
Okay.
Something like that.
You ever been there?
No.
Okay.
It wasn't that serious.
So
Okay.
what would you give her money for?
Just for like the time online with her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was just like that type of thing.
And what did she charge? By the minute? By the hour?
Minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how much is it per minute?
Oh God, I think it was like 90 tokens a minute, and it's like the conversion rate for all of that is like $600 for like 5,000 or something tokens or something like that. So, and then it was 4 hours a night. So I mean that's basically just where all the costs went to, was you pay real money for the tokens, then you use the company's digital currency for that.
So you do that, and when did you meet her?
I met her at the beginning of July. Yeah, at the very beginning of July.
Okay, and still talking to her?
Still, yeah. I mean, more just on like Twitter, like
Okay.
just through direct messaging. Again, cell phone service doesn't work, so it's like I can't use the chatting like that.
How much do you think you spent on this? Because it seems kind of pricey.
Yeah, probably close to like $200,000, I'd say.
$200,000?
Yeah.
And where'd the money come from?
Money came from me, my brother, and then my dad.
Did they know where the money was going to?
They didn't know that it was going to a cam model.
What did you
I
tell
was
them?
saying that it was going towards my Twitch streaming, like advertising, like putting my name out there and that type of thing. So I guess to like bring it all back with why I was brought to Cornerstone, it was a mix of all of those things. It's like he felt like, he felt like
You need to be grounded.
yeah. And so then I was there, I spoke to like the therapist and psychiatrist and all that stuff. I didn't need any medications for anything. They had analyzed it as, this is an isolated event. You've been out of work, you have this PTSD from the whole getting arrested thing, and I mean, the last thing on my record was, I think, a speeding ticket back when I was at UCF. They had signed me up, I think, to be there for 60 days, but then I was only there until January 4th. So
Who paid for that?
My brother, Cody.
What was the cost of that, do you know?
$15,000.
So their final diagnosis of you was what?
That I was fine. That
Didn't need to be there.
Yeah. That I was fine. I told them all about like my living situation and how it had been stressful, and then it got better, and then now it's just stressful again. But they had all just said that it was just this isolated event.
Situational PTSD from.
Right. When I got back, that's where my dad started to get really kind of overbearing, and I mean rightfully so. I know what I did, but it's like with him, it was every single day, hours a day. Hours a day. He'd come home from work, and then he would just talk to me just about the same exact thing over and over and over and over and over again. And
did it get heated?
He would get heated, but
How about you? Did you get heated?
No, I mean I was always the person in the family where like my brother Cody would interrupt my dad when he was talking. My mom would interject and say you can't be saying that or whatever. But for me, I would just sit there and I would just let my dad talk so that he could say everything that he wanted to say.
When was the last time that you and your dad did have, a heated conversation?
It would be Thursday, because one of his rules was that I wasn't allowed to talk to the woman anymore that I had been talking to. But I guess you could say behind the scenes, my mom would let me talk to her through her cell phone using Twitter. So yeah, anyways, on Thursday, he had apparently found out that I was speaking to her again. It wasn't really my intention to continue talking to this woman, but it just kind of happened. And then because there was like that emotional connection, I guess you could say, between her and me, like I I like, you know, it felt like a relationship, you know. I didn't want to just stop cold turkey on it.
So Thursday, you're home all day
Yes.
with your mom. She works at home.
Correct, yes.
Your dad's at work. What's his normal work hours?
He works until, I think he had to go in early that day, because he had to start, like, doing overtime or something like that. And he normally works, though, from, like, 5 or 6 in the morning to, I think he gets home between, like, 5:30 and 6 at night or something like that.
What time did you get home that day?
He got home at, like, 5:30. And then he came in and then he asked me, in a calmer state, I guess you could say, like, basically the leading question of, you know, why do you think we're about to have this conversation? Giving me, I guess, that opportunity to be honest and truthful, to maybe tone it down a little bit. I, of course, did what I always did, where I kind of didn't admit to it. And then he came out and he told me that I had been doing that.
He had proof.
Yeah.
Have an argument?
Yeah. He kind of, you know, pulled me up from the couch, and then he was yelling at me to pack my shit up and just get out of the house. That he was the one who had to be the hammer, and that, you know, why am I making him have to go through this, and all this other kind of stuff.
Okay.
I had my argument, and then I'm packing my stuff. I'm, you know, taking it out to the car. It took me like a couple hours to get as much as I could, just kind of out into there. So I left.
Okay.
And then
What time do you think you left about?
oh God, 9 or 9:30 or so.
He goes on to state that he met up with his brother soon after, who gave him his debit card and allegedly told him, "Don't worry, I'll take care of everything." As Grant had earlier stated that his phone had no service to call anyone, he asserted that his brother had called the house, which is when he found out about the fight, and it was at that point that he left work to meet up with his brother on the side of the road.
So when Cody called the house, you said your mom told him about the argument.
Right.
And you told, when you left, you said you told your mom you were going to be in the area.
Right.
How then does Cody now know where to meet you, or if he's going to meet you?
Yeah, it's because that's when my mom had come out to where I said that I was going to be on that road somewhere. Okay. And then she was able to do that. And then I guess that's how she knew, like, where to, I don't know if she talked to Cody again or if she was able to do that, but then she was able to, like, pinpoint that area.
So you leave, go on your way, Cody goes home,
right,
and you have no contact with him since then.
Right.
I just want to make sure that we're not missing anything
okay.
before we can close
The detectives leave to confer over Grant's alibi and return just under 20 minutes later.
Sorry, man. I need the bathroom.
Oh,
okay. And I wanted to point out a picture of Fort Christmas because we're not aware. I'm not familiar with the area, so.
So we're going to go back and talk again about this because it's kind of important to me about Cody and you meeting that night.
Right.
So then that night, which was Thursday night, you meet Cody because and did he ever tell you why he left work early?
No. I mean, I just assumed that it was just because he had been allowed to leave early.
He'd been allowed to leave early. Okay.
This is essentially the second phase of the interrogation, and the investigators are about to focus on a strategy known as gathering pretext, and will focus this strategy on the specific time period in Grant's alibi where he allegedly met up with his brother just after being kicked out of the house. They will gain as much detailed and particularized information as possible, so that if any of it is fabricated, it will be a relatively simple task to uncover at a later stage. The more information the suspect gives away, the harder it will be for them to remember.
So here's...
I think this is the blinking lights there.
So this is, to me, this is 419 left on Lake Mills, right? Left on Fort Christmas.
Okay.
Where would you say you met Cody on Fort Christmas?
So wait, is this that other, like, neighborhood?
All right, so then where do you and Cody meet?
Like, way down this road, like, yeah, further past on that road.
How far down do you think you met? Half mile, mile?
I mean, a significant ways. I mean...
Just an approximate.
I mean, I would say it was probably over a mile.
So you and Cody meet.
Right.
And it's approximately what time? And I know it's not, I'm not holding to the exact minute, but what time do you think you met?
Like 10:30 or something like that.
How long did you talk to him for?
Only about 10 minutes or so.
And what was the conversation?
Conversation was basically that he was brought up to speed, you know, and that he would take care of it.
He was brought up to speed by what?
He was brought up to speed on, like, why I'm out here.
Who brought him up to speed?
My mom.
Oh, so she talked to him.
Yeah.
He told you that mom had talked to him.
Right.
Since the argument or when?
Since I had left.
So you'd left the house approximately when?
I left the house at like. God, when did I leave the house?
Dark.
It was dark. It was after 9 p.m. but I just don't remember.
So between 9 and approximately 10:30,
right.
You leave.
Right.
Go down to sit on for Christmas. Cody comes and talks to you about 10 minutes. At some point, your mom has spoken to Cody based on what the conversation you had with him, correct?
Correct, yeah.
And she told him what had happened between you and your dad.
Right.
Okay.
Do you think that's why Cody left work?
I mean,
Why he left work?
This is the exact same question that the male detective first asked when they re-entered the room. When gathering pretext, the same questions will be posed multiple times in the hope that the suspect will slip up and give a different response. This would have been strategically planned, and repeated questions will alternate between each officer one at a time. If the same officer repeats a question consecutively, the suspect is more likely to notice, whereas if they switch back and forth, the suspect is less likely to notice.
No, he never said why he left work, but in my mind, I was just thinking, he had been let off work early like three times already this week. So I was just like
10-15 minutes. You talk to Cody.
Right.
What's he driving?
He drives a 97 Honda Accord.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have the conversation, and he leaves to go home.
Right.
And you leave to go where?
And then I stay in that general area just so that if anything happens, somebody like knows where I am. Yeah, I mean, I was staying in that general area, and then I decided to go
to Publix. Which was about what time?
Like between like midnight and 1, I think. Yeah.
And you go to Publix midnight 1, and how long did you stay there till?
I stayed there until like 7. I had an interview with the two managers, Erica and Terry.
Erica and Terry. Females or males?
Females.
Okay, 2 females. What did Erica look like?
Police had already verified that the suspect had indeed attended the interview as he previously stated. The information they were gathering at this moment wasn't to be cross-examined at a later stage, yet pay close attention to how easily he is able to recount this specific information.
Erica is, I think, like maybe 30 or something like that, and she's got like blonde hair, like fake eyelashes, white, kind of just looks like young, standard, small build woman.
Okay. How about the other girl?
Terry is, I think, kind of into her 40s. She's got like auburn, straight hair, white again, and she was also just kind of like a standard, slim build person. It seemed like promising, but then they said that they had one more person to interview on Tuesday or Wednesday of this coming week. Mm-hmm. So, but they said that I would hear something from them regardless, like Tuesday or Thursday.
I want to jump back just a second. When you left the house,
right?
What were you wearing?
When I left the house, I was just wearing, like my, like black pants, and then just.
The detective just made a very sharp switch from the element of the interview to then inquiring about when the suspect last left the house. Notice how much harder it was for him to describe what he was wearing, in comparison to the specific details he just gave of the two interviewers. Forensics later asserted that this was because 2 recollections came up in his memory. The first time he left the house, which is when he was kicked out, and the second time he left the house, which is just after he murdered his family. Rather than pinpointing and specifying a single memory, he had to choose between 2, and if he was wearing different clothes on each occasion, determining the correct set of clothes to fit with his given alibi would lead to a prolonged state of reflection.
Jeans or just like workout pants kind of deal with it?
No, just like workout pants.
Workout pants, okay.
Yeah. And then I just had a black shirt on, and then was I wearing a jacket? And I think just like one of my sweaters or jackets or something. That's where I think I decided that I was going to maybe drive by the house.
Did you go drive by?
I didn't drive by the house. I was starting to go there down that Fort Christmas road, and then I was just like, I'm not gonna do it, because as far as I know, it's like, Dad's probably at work. I don't know if Cody works again today. And, you know, just like with everything that had been
When
happening.
you drove down there,
Yeah.
see anything strange?
There were 3 police vehicles as well as a news van parked outside his house, as well as multiple cop cars circling the area.
No, I had seen, I had just seen like a couple of cars like pass by me, but
What do you mean, cars?
like just standard, like just a little bit of traffic. But then apart from that, no, I mean nothing.
How close did you get to the house?
I mean like a couple miles. I'd say.
Oh, gotcha. Slept there last night? Talked to anybody?
I messaged the girl that I'd been talking to
So you
on
kept
Twitter.
trying to-
Yeah.
On Twitter, so you have to pay for it.
Right.
Did she respond back to you?
I think once.
The discussion is then brought back to his last meeting with Cody.
And then, when you left Cody, what did he say he was going to go do?
Cody said that he will take care of it.
This is the 4th time the suspect has stated this. It's an obvious attempt to render his family's demise as some sort of murder-suicide. Yet forensics has already found out that not one of the victims had fired a gun, or even held a gun at the time of death.
Take care of what?
Just the situation that was at hand with whatever he had been updated with from my mom.
Did he tell you what he was updated?
He had told me the reason why, like, I had been kicked out. But he really didn't give me that much dialogue, like, about that situation. You know, he was miffed a little bit because, you know, he had just gotten off work and now he has to go deal with this.
But what was your demeanor? Like, what did Cody see you as? Like, were you
Like, scared.
upset?
Yeah, I was scared because, I mean, like I said, it's the first time that I had been out of the house, you know.
So you were scared of what? Being on your own?
Right.
Or did your father say or do anything to scare you?
He had threatened me that if I stepped foot back on his property, not the house, but if I stepped foot back on his property, that he would kill me. And, like,
He said those specific words?
Yes.
Did you tell that to Cody? That your
No.
father told you that?
No, I didn't.
So you're afraid of him?
Oh, yeah.
You are actually afraid that he could kill you?
Yeah, and it's also because, like, in the past, like, 2 weeks before I got kicked out, my dad was going through, like, a lot of episodes where he was losing his temper a lot, yelling a lot, especially when me and Cody weren't at the house. And,
Who's he yelling at?
my mom.
So was he being violent to your mom?
Yeah, like, I think
Physically or just emotionally?
both.
Put his hands on her.
He had bruised her left arm by grabbing it. And then apparently she had said that on one of the nights that they were in the kitchen together, and then he was like throwing food at her and then banged her head against the wall a couple times.
So he's kind of a violent guy.
Yeah, I mean,
You have a reason to be afraid of him.
he had told her that basically if I fuck up, sorry for the language, but if I screw up, he's gonna kill me and then he's gonna kill her.
He said those specific
Because
words.
he blames everything that happens negatively with me and with Jason, not with Cody, but with me and Jason on her, because we're her favorites.
So you have a reasonable belief in your mind that your dad could hurt you.
Yes.
He could hurt your mom.
Yes.
He could maybe hurt Jason.
Yes.
He's a violent guy. I'm sorry, I've been this a long time. He sounds like a violent guy.
Yeah.
Quick to lose his temper with you over minuscule stuff.
Minuscule stuff, yeah.
I get the point he's upset about the amount of money. I do get that.
Right.
But physically, he's abusive.
Yes.
And it's kind of embarrassing as you're an adult male right now. He's been abusive of you for years, has he not?
Yeah. I mean, more mentally over the course.
But it has been to the point where you as a 29-year-old male, right, 29?
29.
That you're afraid that your father could kill you.
Yeah.
We've come and talked to you.
Okay.
You rode up here voluntarily with us to talk to us. Why do you think we're having this conversation?
I honestly don't know, but I'm pretty freaked out at this point because, you know, it's, I mean, I know, like, how the situation was when I left, and, you know, I thought that it was weird to begin with that I hadn't gotten any communication whatsoever. I mean, like I had told you, my brother, Cody, the last time when I was away from the house, that he was the one who outreached to me via email, because, again, I didn't have my phone or anything like that. So, I mean, I thought that it was weird, but I had just been kind of putting it out of my mind, thinking, okay, you had to go to work, or they're busy or something.
When you were in your room, The hotel room,
Hotel
hanging
room.
out, watching TV.
No, I didn't turn on the TV. I had on just like music in the background, just kind of helped me go to sleep.
Are you sure about that? Because the hotel, it's weird, and I didn't know this. I used to travel a lot for work. They can tell because of the TV every channel you've been on when the TV gets turned off. Because I guess they have a problem. Yeah, I guess they have a problem with people stealing from that.
Oh wow.
So those things are well monitored, even though that looks like a cheap.
Yeah.
generic
I
TV.
never even touched the TV remote.
Gotcha.
I didn't turn on that TV at all. I was just using my service to like watch YouTube initially, and then
You were using the surface to check things.
Right.
So
yeah.
there'll be a history of everywhere you went on it.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. As a child, we're told the truth always is the best thing to do. Correct.
Correct.
You agree with me?
Yeah.
And accidents happen, and things in the heat of the moment, things happen that we wish hadn't happened. But I do it myself sometimes. My kids will make me so aggravated, I'll snap at them and then walk away and say, wow, I wish I would not have done that. That was not very adult of me to snap at my child for something. Yes, they're wrong, but I should be the adult and not snap at them.
Right.
Tell me what you think, because I can tell I've done this for a long, long time, and I read people, the way they act, and the way they talk to me, and the way they answer questions. There's something you want to tell us. I can see it in your eyes, I can see it in your body language, and just the way you act. Now's the time. Now's the time. If there's something you want to get off your chest and give us an explanation of what's bothering you, now is the exact time to do it. And I'm giving you that opportunity right now to tell me something you want to get off your chest. It's there. I can see it in your face. I can see it in your eyes.
Kept out about that night.
You're upset about it. You've been that since we've talked to you. I can see there's something been bothering you. Even though I don't know you from Adam's house, can't you see things in people that something's really bothering this guy? It's not that, I spent a bunch of money I shouldn't have on this girl. So be it. You did. It's over with. Money can be made back. Something's bothering you.
I'm just worried about what is all transpiring from this.
I think at this point right now, to be honest with you, Grant, you know what it is. It's in your eyes. Your eyes is the view to your soul, and it's in your eyes. And it sounds stupid, and people don't believe it. Like I told you out there in the car, did I not tell you? You may not like what I say, but I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you the truth every time, because I can walk in front of anybody in God and say, I don't care. I told him the truth.
And we usually know answers before we ask it.
Right.
Me and Eva knew everything before we asked you the questions. Now's the time to come to Jesus, be honest, because you're holding something back. I can see it in your eyes. People don't believe that the police will help you, but we are actually here to help you with issues you may have. I think something happened, and you don't want to tell us, but right now is the time to get it off your chest. And I really wish you would, because it will make you feel better in the end.
I genuinely don't have anything else that I can say about the night or the periods of time afterwards.
There's only one opportunity to make that good impression, and if we've done something we shouldn't have done, you fess up there. You caught your hand in a cookie jar, you do it. Now,
is there anything else that happened at the house that you didn't tell us, that you've left out, or we haven't asked you, that would be of importance? Or during the time that you drove around for those few hours, did you ever really go back to the house that you haven't told us about?
Something that happened that caused you to defend yourself.
No, because again, it's like I didn't have any means to defend myself. I mean, I didn't.
Notice how the suspect's demeanor hasn't changed even in the slightest amount since the detectives switched from information gathering to direct confrontation. The suspect was already in a defensive state of mind and fabricating naivety as he was answering the earlier questions. Now in the confrontational stage, the suspect has remained in the same defensive mindset and continues to fabricate naivety, yet he is unaware that his lack of assertiveness while refuting statements is highly unusual for a truthful subject, especially at the very start of a confrontation.
Well, we know from talking that there's weapons in the house.
Right.
We know that to be a fact. something happened that caused you to defend yourself. Whether you had anything or not, you found something to defend yourself with. I can't tell you everything. I'm not going to tell you everything. But something happened. Whether your dad blew up on you, threatened you, physically harmed you, or hurt you, something happened that caused an altercation.
And I didn't do anything at the house besides get my stuff together and take it out to my car. And that's, I mean, I didn't, besides that one thing that I told you guys where I was going down the road to come back maybe, besides that, I mean, I didn't.
So you saw nothing that was out of the ordinary?
No.
In the Fort Christmas area or 419 area?
No, I mean.
Did you even get up to the Lake Mills Fort Christmas area where that guy's blinking lights are?
No. When I came back, I didn't come up to there.
Setting aside his demeanor, he still hasn't inquired as to what exactly has happened. He stated that, in his own words, he is freaked out, yet still hasn't asked about what's going on with regard to his immediate family members.
There is, and you're better electronics than I am. I'm gonna go ahead and admit that. There's a digital footprint, and there's ways to see things that we know that don't make sense. Even though your phone may not have service, there's still issues with the phone.
Right.
And it was on you the entire time when you left the house until you were in touch with law enforcement.
I can track places you've been, and I know where you have been, and I know what time you've been there. And what everything you're telling me isn't just copacetic and doesn't add up. Because there's what I think, what you think, what she thinks, and then there's things that are hard facts that you can't manipulate.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think something happened at the house based on my knowledge right now, and you're afraid to say it. You're afraid to come back and say that I was a victim, I was hurt, I had something that happened there that I don't want you to tell because it's something maybe embarrassing or not good, but I know a lot more than I can let on right now. And things you're not telling me, I can't help you if you won't let me help you.
So where's the missing piece? What have we missed here?
I mean, when I had come back that other time, I crossed in front of the dude's fence, the red blinking lights ones.
What time was that?
I can't remember.
That was Friday during the day when you said you were going to come back.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. But it was after you did your interview.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you did that, you would have seen something, and there would be something out of the ordinary that you would have seen. If you passed that, you passed something out of the ordinary. What was it?
I saw like a news van, and then I don't think there might have been like a cop car. There was like traffic being.
Human nature. Human nature. What do people do when I go back to my old neighborhoods? And I've lived a couple places in Central Florida in the 23 years I've been here. I see something major going on, I get on my phone, or I get on my computer, and I wonder what's happened by my neighborhood. And look, you came back to the neighborhood. You saw some things that are really out of the ordinary.
Right.
And I don't believe for a second that you thought that I'm not going to look what's going on. What happened to my neighborhood?
I mean, I didn't search it up on anything, on any of the devices that I have.
Did you search it somewhere else?
At
remember, like I said, I know things that you don't know. And honesty will get you all the things I could do for you, to be honest. I can't deal with someone who lies to me,
right.
But I'll deal with someone and help them till the end, no matter what, believe it or not. That's just me, and she'll tell you. It's what it is. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to say if I can do something that can help you, I'm going to help you, because every one of us make mistakes and do things we shouldn't have done in the heat of the moment to protect ourselves or to protect somebody else. It happens. I know you've searched for something. I know something. I can't tell you exactly, but you said won't you tell me? And I'll tell you if you're being truthful. What'd you search?
When I had gone to the Panera, I searched for like top stories, Oviedo or Chuliote or something like that.
And found what?
And then I saw that there was, it was like just the initial, like it had like a video, but I didn't listen to the video, but it had just an initial thing of that there was shootings in Salton Circle. but it didn't say like the address or who was involved. It was just like this is the
Was
preliminary.
that on one of the news stations?
Um,
What was the site you searched?
I honestly can't remember.
And
I think it was one of the Weshes, but.
And you saw the story, because we've seen the same stories. You've seen the story. Because there's a thing that will tell me how long of the time you spent on that.
Right.
You saw what happened.
Yeah, I was on there for like 20 seconds.
And what was your thoughts when you reviewed this story?
I was freaking out, and I was just like blank. I didn't know what to do.
Now's the time. Now is the time.
So what do you think
To be
happened?
honest.
I think that there was something that obviously happened at the house.
Tell me what happened.
I don't know what happened.
I know better. Listen to me. I know better. I can help you, Grant, with honesty. I can help you with honesty.
We think something else happened before you left the home that you're either afraid of or embarrassed to talk about. But we need to know exactly what happened because, like Danny said, we can place you there at certain times. And so we need to know what happened before you left that house because you didn't leave with everything being okay.
I honestly I don't have anything else that I can really say. I mean, I don't know.
Do you even know why law enforcement got involved? Like what brought us to that home?
No,
You just said it. You know something bad happened there. Out of your voice, not mine. I have not told you anything what's happened there. Something bad happened. You're here with us for a couple hours. You admit that you've looked at a site and seen something bad happen because the video is not of just a general area. It's of a specific location, correct?
Yeah, I saw like a driveway or something.
Whose driveway did you see?
I don't know. I saw like there was like a gate. There was a gate, and then I saw like that there was like two cars, but then I didn't see anything past that.
Okay.
Well, is that driveway and gate your home?
I
honestly did not fixate on it for like a long period of time. I saw like the one with an actual like gate.
You've been here with us. You think something bad has happened at your house, and to date, so long you haven't even asked us about anybody.
Well, that's because for the last time that I was arrested, I mean, like nobody would tell me anything.
Once you start telling me something that's truthful that I know, then we're going to have a conversation of exactly what happened.
I mean, you're a smart guy. You know something's happened at your home. You have law enforcement here. You haven't heard or gotten any emails from your family.
I'm just scared as to what the answer is.
This was in fact a very smart response from the suspect, as what he just referred to is known in psychology as avoidant coping, also known as escape coping, or cope and avoid. It represents a maladaptive way of dealing with stress, as it does not remove the problem, only postpones having to deal with it. This has now given the suspect somewhat of a justification as to why he hasn't inquired directly about the unusual development of the situation.
Well, you need to help yourself by filling in the blanks of what happened that night so we can give you the answer. Did anything more happen with you and your father besides him grabbing you up from the couch and yelling at you and kicking you out? Anything at all? Did he harm you, hit you?
No.
Draw any weapons on you?
No, he didn't do anything like that. I mean, he was just yelling.
This is the time to come to Jesus, to be honest. Because you know more. I'm looking in your eyes tell me exactly that you are hurting inside. I get it. Brother, I get it. You're hurting.
And this is the
You're
only
scared.
time we can help you.
Because once we get to a certain point, there's nothing I can do. It's in the hands of who has it. Nothing I can do. Honesty is always the best policy. You get caught stealing a car, you admit to it, I get it. How can I get help? What can be done to help me? And let me tell you the rest of my story. You're holding back.
And if something happened that you were defending yourself, then we need to know that. If you were protecting yourself because you were in fear, then that makes sense. But we need to know exactly what happened for you to protect yourself.
You can't minimize this. Once, a wise man told me one time, once a bomb goes off, you can't defuse it. You can't. That's already out there. Now is the point to say, how do I put Band-Aids on myself to minimize the injuries I have? And we're giving you that opportunity. I want to give you that opportunity. I don't think you're a bad guy at all. I really don't. I think you're going through a very stressful and emotional time right now with being out of work and just dealing with all the problems with the arrest. You're probably not used to depending on somebody to pay all your bills. So now you have to do mom and dad or have to give you money. Cody's having to give you money. And there's a significant debt to people. $200,000, I don't know what I'd do. I mean, mortgage, yeah, I get it, or something like that, or a medical bill for my child, yeah, I get it. But talking to some girl, in Bulgaria, you hit it right on the head. You were embarrassed about it, and you have nothing to be embarrassed about.
And you said you had a connection with her.
Sure.
And
here it is, man. I want to help you. She want to help you. You gotta come to me with the truth now, because I already know the truth.
There's a reason you didn't go back to the house. There's a reason why you haven't tried to reach out. I mean, it's odd you haven't heard from anybody.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's words that, like, I can't think of to even say. But I'm assuming that, when you see that there is a shooting somewhere and it's around, and it has to do with my family.
Your family has no...
Somewhat of a rookie mistake by the detective here. The suspect was finally about to acknowledge the circumstances involving his family. Unless it's to stop an outright denial before it can be voiced, a detective would not normally interrupt a suspect's dialogue during the confrontational phase of an interrogation, especially during a breakthrough moment such as this.
Known enemies. Nobody has a problem with them. Nobody.
Right.
Continue what you were saying. You said when you...
But, I mean, that's like, I don't, like, I don't know how to even say the words.
Well, give me a roundabout what you're thinking.
That somebody in my family's dead.
And how does that make you feel if you're thinking that?
I have absolutely no ability to comprehend the words, because, like I said, I've been there for my whole entire life, and even though there's been struggles and everything like that, there has never been any issues.
There's never been the struggles or the issues like happened Thursday. Never for you. I believe you 100%. I believe it's never been like that. But something happened Thursday, unlike anything you've ever experienced in 29 years of your life. Never.
And maybe you felt that was rock bottom for you. You were getting kicked out of the house. Your father gave you an ultimatum. I mean, that's, you're already dealing with the debt, and, now you have to stop talking to this girl, and now you're being kicked out of the home. I mean, I can understand how you would feel. I mean, that you'd want to lash out, or, if something happened, you'd want to defend yourself.
Sure. Absolutely.
But we need to know what happened.
I mean, I can tell that you guys are, like, leading me into a certain way of what...
The only thing we're leading you to is wanting to get the truth from you. Not trying to make you say something that's not true, that's not accurate. The truth. The end. That's it. That's all we want, is the absolute truth.
I mean, apart from the times maybe being wrong, I genuinely don't have anything else that I can say about what transpired during the nighttime.
So when you left your house, everybody was fine.
Yeah.
And when you left Cody,
everything was fine.
Well, we got called to the house because Cody didn't show up to work. So law enforcement goes over there, and can you tell us what we found? What do you think we found when law enforcement arrived at your home?
I mean, you guys are talking about guns, and you're talking about other things that and then the website and everything, that something happened to him.
Who's him?
Cody.
Did you do anything to Cody?
No.
Did you do anything to your mother?
No.
Did you do anything to your father?
No.
You have any reason to believe that anybody else would harm them?
No, the only thing that I was told was that Cody would take care of it for me. And that's all that I know.
But you didn't tell Cody what your father said to you, correct?
Correct.
So when Cody made those comments to you, what do you believe he meant by that? Have you guys ever talked about?
That he was gonna, I thought he was just gonna do what he always does, which is where he just talks about it and he figures out whatever strategy he needs to.
So if anything happened in the home to bring law enforcement there, what would you think happened?
That there was a shooting.
Between whom?
I don't know. Between Cody and my dad.
And why would you think that?
To protect me, or to help me, or to do something with me.
So you're telling me you did not shoot Cody,
No.
your father, or your mother?
No. I mean, I don't know, like, what more I can say.
Well, when law enforcement arrived, that's what they found. So you're the only outstanding child. You're the one that's been having problems with your dad. You're the one that we haven't been able to find for 2 days. Do you understand now why we would be questioning you about this?
Yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't...
He was just made aware there was a shooting involving his family no longer than 20 seconds ago. Yet when posed a confrontational question, he immediately gave a defensive response. A truthful subject would normally demand to know exactly what had happened, and whether any of their family members had been killed or not.
Like, I mean, I wouldn't be saying, like, all, like, I don't know the way to... I don't know, like, what to even say.
So if anything happened in the home, you believe it would be Cody and him?
Yes. Because I don't have, access to anything.
We know that Cody didn't shoot your dad. We know Cody didn't shoot your mom. We know Cody didn't shoot himself. There's something.
And you still haven't asked us the condition of them or anything.
That's because I mean, I don't know what the normal proceedings are, but
The normal proceedings are for you to be honest about what happened.
And then we help you understand everything that's going to go on from here on out, of what our responsibilities are.
And we don't believe you're being honest. We feel that you are leaving something out about what happened in that home. And the evidence tells us what happened in the home. But you need to fill in the blanks.
This was a perfect moment to protract the silence for as long as possible to see how the suspect would respond to the pressure.
Here's my hand for honesty.
The male detective repeats his honesty approach a number of times over, yet the suspect reacts in the exact same manner as he did to the multitude of times it was used before, which is to simply not respond with a blank expression on his face.
I am an honest guy. I'm going to be honest. And when it's all said and done, I'm going to be honest to the very last day that I deal with you. And then when this investigation continues, I'll go on to the next person and be honest with them. I can only do so much with honesty. Honesty.
So what are you not telling us? What happened at that home that you know?
I mean, the only thing that I know is just that, I mean, I left the house later than what I had said.
Did you leave the house with your brother Cody looking like that? Or did you leave the house with your father looking like that? Or your mother? Is that how you left your family?
No. Nobody else went into that house.
Who left your family like this? If you were the one that's been depressed, you were the one that owes money, you were the one that got into a confrontation with your father, who did this to your family? If you were trying to defend yourself or something else happened, we need to know now to help you. So tell us what happened, Grant. We're here to listen to you.
Grant, you need the truth. We're here to make this right. You got to tell the truth. It's on the tip of your tongue, my man. I get that.
Did your father go after you and you try to protect yourself?
No, I didn't do any of this.
She never held a gun. She didn't have a gun that night. Fact. He never fired a gun. Fact. He never fired a gun. Never did. This is the person right here, Mom, who always stuck up for you. Something happened so bad that caused her death, your dad's death, and Cody. And I'll tell you just about how it happened. 1, 2, 3. Based on evidence. Based on evidence. I know he did not shoot your mom. I know he didn't shoot your dad. I know he didn't shoot himself. And I know from video surveillance camera in the neighborhood, nobody else came to that house. Listen to me. Hey, I know. Video surveillance tells me everything that happened this night. I'm telling you. Of people that you'd be surprised who in your neighborhood has video. And I know that there's only 4 people at this house during this time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tell me. You got to tell me, man. You got to tell me. Get over that hoop. The video, if you're sitting there saying no, and video shows something else, guess what? Big problem. Because it will wind up later on that you can't get any help from anybody. A lot of this, what people make decisions on, is honesty. Was somebody honest? Didn't fire a gun, didn't fire a gun, didn't fire a gun. None of them did. None of them did. Cody did not go home.
Or did your father point a gun at you?
No, there's nothing else that I can say.
Your emotions, your demeanor, your body language, your eyes tell me everything I need to see about you. You want to tell me in the worst way. You want to get this pain off your chest. Do it.
I mean, there's just nothing else that I can say.
Then who do you think did this?
I don't know. I don't have the answer.
I'll give you a few minutes to think about this. And think about life decisions and where do we go from here. Want a few minutes to collect your thoughts?
Yeah.
Okay. Give you a few minutes.
The detectives leave the room for 8 minutes, then return without saying a single word. It becomes evident that they had pre-planned a strategy, which was to remain silent for as long as it took before the suspect initiated the next course of dialogue.
And the only thing that I have is just the times in which I had left the house. You know, there was still an argument when Cody had gotten home, and then there was nothing that he could do to help me. So I don't remember the exact time when I actually left, but I had left later than what I had said.
So you were home when Cody got home?
Yes.
Tell us about that. What time did he get home, and why did he come home?
I mean, he got home at, I think, like 10:30. I still think that's when he got home, was like around 10:30. I don't know why he was able to leave early.
And what was going on at the house when he arrived?
My dad and my mom were arguing, and then I was still just packing up all my stuff, or gathering the things that I could gather. And then when Cody got home, he started to transgress with my dad, and I was still kind of just staying out of it and doing my own thing. And then the end result was still the end result, and then I had to still leave.
Now let's start from the time you and your father started having the argument. About 6:30 you said when he got home?
Yeah.
Tell us exactly what happened from that time on. Even what was said.
I mean, it was just a lot of yelling. I mean, it was everything that he had been telling me for the past months and months and months about just how I had ruined his retirement and how I had pushed him back, and now, you know, he'd never be able to do things that he wanted to do because I had saddled him with a lot more expenses. And that I had told him that, you know, once I can get a job, then I have plans to make amends for the things that I had caused for everybody.
The suspect's admission to an earlier fabrication appears to be a step towards a confession, yet he simply goes on to amend his alibi to fit with the same narrative that his brother and father got into an altercation that precipitated the murders.
So your dad had told you in the past before that he would kill you?
Right.
For what reason?
For if I basically did anything related to this, again, costing him a lot of money.
And Cody knew about that?
Right.
All right, so what else do you and Cody talk about?
So then after talking about that, he says that he'll take care of it, and then him and my dad, they're the ones that always yell and raise their voices and everything like that.
So did your dad eventually enter the kitchen, or did Cody go to your dad in the office?
No, my dad came in when he heard that me and Cody were talking.
And what was the conversation then?
When they started to talk, I just left the room, and I just went back upstairs. I don't know what time I actually left, but I think it was closer to like midnight or something.
And when you left, where was your mother?
When I left, my mom was still just in her office.
And where was your dad?
Dad and Cody were just yelling inside the kitchen.
So from about midnight till 7 a.m., like you said, you were at Publix. And then is everything else the truth as far as the job interview and so on and so forth?
All the rest of the times were accurate, and when I looked at the site, I only saw a small blurb.
So when did you learn that your family was dead?
I had been worried since last night when I was just in the hotel, but I knew when you guys told me. I mean, like, I knew when you guys had told me.
You already knew, though.
But I had...
You already said, you knew.
At any point, did you feel like you needed to reach out to Cody and see if he was okay, or?
I just didn't want to call anywhere. I just didn't want to know.
Based on what you're telling us, that he comes home and has this confrontation, talks to you, talks to his dad, you leave about midnight, and he's still there talking to your dad in the kitchen, none of that adds up.
Medical examiner can approximate the time of death based on the body.
We understand your father was abusive, and we understand that he was the asshole. And if he threatened you, that he was going to kill you when you came back, you were probably in fear, were you not? So did your brother come home to try and defend you, and then this gunfight happened, and you got so scared that you left?
No, I mean, I had left when I had said that I had left.
I just don't know where else to go to get you to come around, because it does not make any logistical sense of what you're telling us. It doesn't. If these two got in a shooting, we would know. We would know they shot each other. We'd know that.
But why Mom?
Things just got so bad and out of hand, like never it's been before in your life. Never been here before in your life, or your family's life. He's pissed. His future, his retirement, his plans are being upset by you because of the financial cost. I would almost bet this is just a horrible, bad incident that on any other day wouldn't happen. But you and me both know, as does she, what happened that night. It's a whole lot easier for you just to say what happened than to have to come up here and say, here, boom, 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 because that may change the direction of this case severely. Of whether somebody says, here, let me tell you what happened, it got me here. This blew up, he's been threatening me, he's upset at me, I've ruined, his financial success and his plans for retirement with the house.
Cody tried to get involved, and you wanted to protect Cody. That makes sense. You and Cody are close.
I don't have the answer for anything else.
Okay. This is the last time before I'm gonna walk out now, and then I'm done. Then I'm done for good. When I'm done, I'm done. They won't say, hey, can I come back and talk to you? The minute I walk out that door with your story is where you stay at. That's your lot in life. I'm more than willing to sit here all day and all night if you want to talk, to find the facts. But I can't. I told you from the beginning, I will not deal with somebody that's not being truthful with me. You're not being truthful. You're not telling me the truth. You've lied, and we've forgiven you over that. We've forgiven you over it. You can't lie about this, Grant. You can't. This is too important for your family of what has happened. There's not somebody out running around the United States that killed them. There's not. There's nobody out there, some hidden killer. There's not. You don't show the remorse that you should for someone who's lost 3 family members. Body language, eyes, and demeanor. Here's the time, man. I know it's tough. Tell the truth, because when I walk out, there is no another day.
And it's going to look worse for you when we prove it by the DNA, the gunpowder, the blood spatter, fingerprints. Now is the time for you to be honest with us and is exactly what happened in that house before you left.
We'll be there for weeks gathering evidence. We are going to build the case because we're going to disprove the fact that nobody else came in this house. We already know that answer. But at some point, we will build a case to the conclusion that nobody else went in.
I don't have anything else that I can say. My brother even said the same thing of when all this financial stuff was happening, why I couldn't show sadness towards it. And I just don't know. I just don't know what else to say.
Do you not feel bad for doing this to your family?
I don't know.
You don't know what? You don't know if you feel bad for doing this to your family?
I've been getting blamed for the last half a year for everything, and I've been trying to move forward into a positive direction. And then every day I'm reminded of all the trouble that I had caused. And then I keep being told the same thing over and over again, but there's nothing that I can do to change it.
Do you regret doing this to each one of your family members?
I didn't do that C21.
Who did?
I don't
Who has such an axe to grind with your family that they shot him twice in the head, him in the head, and her? Who has it? Here, you sit in my seat for a minute. Sit in my seat. Get out of it. Here, sit right here. Come here. Sit right here. Get out of that seat. Sit right there for me. Sit on it. Look at it from our side. Who has a motive to hurt your family? You could say Jason, but we already know where Jason was. I can account for every bit of Jason's activity. Every bit of it. Jason gave a statement. What's the first thing we looked at? Is Jason telling the truth? Can we verify what he told us? And in quick succession, we did. He said I was XXXXS, and yep, he sure was.
I know from sitting over here what it looks like. I mean, it's just like when I was accused of the whole grand theft thing. And then it's, you know, everything from security cameras and all this other stuff for saying this, that, and the other, but then there's nothing that showed that I had done anything wrong. And I don't know what else I can say.
Two things that happened here today. Two things. You're a guy swimming out in the middle of the ocean, and we're going to give you one of two things based on you. You can have a life preserver to keep from drowning, or you get the boat anchor. Which one do you want? Because we will give you whichever one you ask for. The life preserver, the boat anchor.
No, I want the life preserver, but I've said everything that I can.
You want it, and I believe you do, but you have not said everything you can say. You're saying what you want to say to me right now. Just like you wanted me to believe that you were down on Fort Christmas down the road with Cody. That you wanted to. That's what you wanted me to believe. And there's a reason you were being deceptive to me. Because it doesn't matter where you met him and had this conversation. If you lie about something small, you lie about something big. You're being deceptive. This is it. Your one chance in the rest of your life to be honest about this right here. I don't get it. I don't. One, I get. I understand. She didn't bully you. She didn't belittle you. She didn't run you into the ground. Nor did he. I don't get it. But this is it. Because you're just about, I've kind of got a number in my mind that I'm going to get up and I'm going to walk out and we'll take our stuff and be on our way, and you're going to go the way you go. But there will be a time where you ask for that life preserver. I can't give it to you. I can't. Once I cross a line I got to step over, can't do it. Won't do it. Think about that. I want to talk to her for a minute. Think about the last life preserver I can give you. Think about it. Take a few minutes just to reflect on it, and then we'll come back to you in a couple of minutes, and then we'll go from there. And what happens is what happens. Fair enough? You alright, Graham? Okay. Need some food, some water? You good to stay for a while longer? You okay?
I mean, I just don't have anything more that I can say. I don't know what the next...
I'm not keeping you. If you want to stay, well, I'll talk to you till whatever, till you're happy with everything and you're okay. You're not detained. You're not being kept here. Don't want to be here. You don't have to be here.
I don't want to be here anymore.
Okay. Give me a minute. We'll get you out of here. What we'll do is we'll get you up somewhere. I'll give you my card, my phone number. If you want to talk to me, you're more than welcome to call me. And we'll move forward from there. Fair enough? Any questions of me before I go? Or before we walk out? I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Like, what am I allowed to do?
Live your life. Hey man, we're right there at it. Jason's here. It's going to be a few more minutes. What I need to do is just for our investigation, get some pictures of you. We're going to collect your clothing. And if you have no issues, we're going to get a swab of your mouth, just saliva for DNA. to go along, to make sure your story goes along with where we're at. No problem with anything? Give me a few minutes. I apologize, the clothes aren't going to be the best in the world. We had to get some up. So we got some for you, some shorts and a t-shirt and some shoes. And then as soon as that's done, we'll get Jason here to talk to you. All right.
Alright, so I take it you know what happened.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you plain out, you are not part of it anyway.
No.
When's the last time you saw everybody?
I left the house between like midnight and like 12:30.
I want to believe you, Grant, but you're the last person that I could put in that house. And I know what happened over the last 6 months. I can understand the troubles that you've gone through, but it's hard for me to think that you would break to this point.
Mm-hmm.
But who else can I blame? How are we going to find out who did this?
I don't know. I don't have the answers.
So what are your intentions? Do you understand what we have to do now? If you're not the person that did it, we have months of stuff that we have to take care of from our dead parents. The shit you did, you could have been in jail. You would have been in jail for years.
I know.
And they covered it up for you. I'm sorry. I don't believe you. And I probably will have resentment for the rest of my life, whether you did it or you didn't do it, but I need closure. I need to know what happened to my mother, my father, and my brother Cody. I don't know what else to say, but I'm scared for you and I'm scared for myself, and I don't feel comfortable with you being around me alone. I'm sorry. I could take you physically, but if you have a knife or know where a gun is, I'm fucked. And I have little girls that I have to raise. I have a woman that is depending on me for the rest of my life. I need you to be honest with me, man. I need to have closure. And if it doesn't come from your mouth and I have to hear it from an attorney or a law enforcement or the news, I was told that you would not have access to be able to contact this woman. Why do you feel the intent to still contact her?
It was just the whole emotional thing. I mean, that's all
Okay,
that I can say.
so are you saying that you love the woman?
I feel like I did, yeah.
Okay, you feel like you did, so you don't feel that way now?
Well, I mean, now it's pretty much, it's not what it used to be, is all I can say.
Because she's aware of what has happened in the last several months.
Right.
So why do you feel the need to still contact her?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know, apart from just like that feeling when you care for somebody who's been with them for however many months.
Yo, I know that feeling.
So, I mean, I was just, I knew
looking for closure?
To some degree, yeah, and I knew that I could never do any of the money stuff anymore.
Okay.
So I guess that was like...
It hurt, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, because you can't carry that persona that you carried before. I do love you, though. Just remember that. Just like Mom, Cody, and Dad loved you. Nobody loved you any more or any less.
You have anything else you need to talk about before we let you go? Because now's your time. You know that. Like Danny said, once you're out of here, there's no coming back from this. We're giving you every opportunity to tell us what happened in that home that you have not told us. So you're aware that when you leave here, you're not going to have any chance to redeem yourself and tell us the truth after the fact.
I understand.
And you're okay with that. You can live with yourself knowing that you're not going to tell us the truth.
I've said what I can say.
Okay.
You ready, man? Yeah. Question for you real quick. You don't want to hurt yourself.
No.
You don't want to hurt anybody else.
No.
No suicidal thoughts.
No.
Okay, come on, bud.
Amato was arrested just 9 hours later at his hotel at 1 a.m. He was taken into custody without incident and booked into the local correctional facility on a no-bond status. His trial began on August 12th of this year.
Grant Amato was so obsessed with this woman. You're going to see from the evidence in this case, at 2:53 a.m. on January 25th, after leaving the house that contained the 3 dead bodies of his family, the defendant goes to a nearby Publix parking lot, logs onto their Wi-Fi, and uses his dead brother's USA checking account to pay $599.99 to get onto Sylvie's website at 3:02 in the morning. That's what this case is about. It's about his blind obsession with this woman, the end of the world as he believed it to be because of his family, and his absolute contempt for those that he held responsible.
Verdict, count 1, Margaret Amato. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of first-degree premeditated murder. Verdict, count 2, Chad Amato. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of first-degree premeditated murder. Verdict, count 3, Cody Amato. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of first-degree premeditated murder.
Grant Amato was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. As for Sylvia Venceslavova, multiple news outlets and even the FBI have since attempted to reach out to her for the purpose of collecting a witness statement. She is yet to respond. Her profile on the CAM site has since been deleted, and none of the Amato family's earnings have been returned. A GoFundMe was set up for the Amato family after the murders of which $20,000 was raised. Not a single dollar was sent from Bulgaria.
And honesty will get you all the things I could do for you, to be honest. I can't deal with someone who lies to me,
Right.
but I'll deal with someone and help them till the end, no matter what, believe it or not. That's just me, and she'll tell you. It's what it is. I'm going to be honest with you.
Also, I think this hour is marked by the male detective getting stuck in the loop of honesty. That's what I'm calling it. And what that looks like is anytime he gets a little bit stuck, he just goes into the loop, which is just, he'll be like, Grant, I'm an honest man. You're an honest man. I can tell you're an honest man, okay? What you've been saying is 95% honest. We need to get to, I'm honest, I've had a good career. Okay? He does this weird bragging thing where he's like, I've had a long career, an honest career. She'll tell you. He says that like 3 times. She'll tell you. I'm an honest man. I'll be honest from the day that we meet to the day that we don't meet.